So it's been known for a while that certain private organizations and certain private people can pay money to get the location of virtually any cell phone. And this is because a number of different telecommunication companies have been selling this information to companies that provide it either to the US government, to police organizations, or also to people like bounty hunters. In this case, finally have a confirmed, well, not finally, but we have another confirmed abuse of this sort of system when a US Marshal started using this service to instead covertly track people that he was personally connected to. So this means that somebody who just works at a police agency would be able to start stalking their partner. And in this case, it looks like they were stalking both their partner and then I think like an older partner they'd had, and then that person's current partner. So like a lot of partners involved, but the overall case was they were illegally accessing their information just arbitrarily, and then when they started getting audited, went back and attempted to get retroactive written permission from the person who was surveilled to avoid getting in lots of trouble. This is just one case that was detected. It's a very, very tempting thing when you have access to just pull up someone you're interested in and see like what they're up to. I know because I've worked at companies where I could literally type in someone's name or information and find out where they'd traveled for the last year in excruciating detail. And there was nothing technically preventing me from doing that. The only thing that would have happened is eventually, if it were audited, I would have been asked why I'd gone after that information. But unless an audit actually happened, there's nothing physically preventing me from accessing that data. So that's the case at a lot of different companies. And in this case, when you are selling a service to like an entire police force and everybody on that agency gets access to it, if there's not great oversight and if there's not approval, then it's probably going to be the case that you get abuses. And in this case also, I believe that he uploaded blank documents, blank document, uploaded an official document to the secure LDS platform. So there were times when this guy was required to attach a document that authorized a court notice or something that authorized him to do the surveillance, and he just uploaded a blank doc and nothing happened. He was able to just do it anyway. So eventually he got audited, and this was discovered, but that was because he was being audited. It wasn't because there was anything really designed to detect this sort of abuse. So these sorts of data providers that go ahead and turn around and sell your data are a huge problem, because it means not only do random bounty hunters potentially get access to your current location, it also means that police can request this by abusing the system they have access to and just uploading a blank document and maybe using that to facilitate harassment or passing it on to somebody else to harass you. It would be really difficult to prove that there was abuse of the system unless there's constant auditing and making sure that these documents that are being uploaded to justify use of the systems are valid. So it looks like that's not happening at all. And it was only this one special case so far that's been detected, but the environment for abuse has not really been changed.
Scary that they can just go and check like that. Like, I would think it's like if it's some sort of like standardized document that's supposed to prove that you have like actual approval to do that stuff, there could be some sort of like automation to like check that there's at least something in that document. That's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
This was part of a series that Motherboard did on getting personal information from these third-party companies. This is one of the companies that in particular is involved with sharing this information. And there was another piece. I gave a bounty $300, then he located our phone, that talks about the exact same vendors and how people who are not law enforcement and are not vetted the same way are able to get access to these security tools, presumably because they're doing skip tracing or some sort of like bounty hunting activity. But the level of documentation they need to provide is very, very low. So this is kind of culminated in this story. Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint, and AT&T hit with class action lawsuit over selling customers' location data. Hey, are those two things related?
Oh boy.
Yes. So it turns out that a lot of people didn't like having their current real-time location data sold to these third-party providers that were turning around and not only digesting the data and selling it as profiles, but also providing real-time access to law enforcement. These are very, very large steps towards eroding people's expectation of privacy when it comes to their movements, because anywhere that you're taking your phone at this point then could be sold for a profit by these companies to a third-party provider who is supposed to use the data only in certain ways, but in reality is incentivized to sell it to as many people as they possibly can, or derive information from it and then sell that data, which theoretically like makes the data a little bit removed. But if the information about you is derived from analysis of your every location, then it's pretty sensitive data, and you might not know where it comes from, but it can be, in many cases, legally sold, which is the root of this lawsuit here. So this is hopefully a step towards actually, I don't know why these two guys are so upset here. Oh, it's because there's no air conditioning in the subway.
Like they're having a standoff.
Yeah, it's just hot.
Maybe they're breaking up.
It's just hot. But yeah, so this is hopefully a step in the right direction towards being able to have some accountability for the root of the problem here, which is the companies that provide you with services, but in exchange, sell the information about where you are to these entities who are authorized to sell it to law enforcement. It often goes around needing a warrant because obviously we saw a single blank document can be uploaded to gain access to the system. So if you were somebody who hacked any law enforcement agents who has access to the system's account, you would be able to just access someone's location data by uploading a blank document. That's obviously a pretty big risk. So yeah, it's good to see that there might be some potential for this loophole to be closed and for the telecommunications companies to be financially incentivized to stop selling this data, because until it becomes not profitable for them, I think that it's going to just continue happening the way it is now.